I would say to anybody who has a passion for this, follow your passion, but also realize that you got to stay sharp. It's about what's up here as well as your talent, and then everything else will follow.
I'm Dr. Teresa A. Smith, Dr. TAS, and welcome to Talk with TAS. I have the honor of welcoming the incomparable Alyson Williams, an Emmy-winning jazz and R&B singer. Alyson is renowned for her pure, soulful voice that transports audience to their own personal utopia. Harlem raised and immersed in music from a young age, Alyson has a rich legacy, as we know, as the First Lady of Def Jam, a trailblazing performer and a captivating actress. Beyond the stage, she's an entrepreneur, philanthropist, a mentor, inspiring the next generation of artists with a career spanning chart-topping hits like I Was Gonna Do It, Alyson. I don't know if I could do it now. Just call my name. You know, I didn't do it well, Alyson, but you know, I'm going to come running though. Broadway triumphs and her impactful community work. Alyson embodies love, light, and artistry in its finest. Let's celebrate the one and only Miss Alyson Williams.
Hello,
Welcome. Thank you so much, Alyson, for joining me. And we've had WLC Jersey, thank you so much for joining us also. Alyson, we're going to jump right in. Now, you are known as the First Lady of Def Jam. You had, say that again now?
I said, that's what they say.
Well, and it's true. It is true. Now, your career has been full of groundbreaking moments. You have performed internationally. What are some life lessons that you've learned about staying strong in a tough industry? Because you're going strong. It's not like you're slowing down. It's like you're picking up speed. So what are some lessons that you've learned?
Well, you know, it's a blessing to be able to just do what you do and be consistent and to keep yourself in the game, keep yourself in the look, keep all those balls in the air. It's not easy. And I think one of the biggest and best lessons that I've learned is that I've got to stay grounded. I've got to stay grounded mentally, physically, spiritually, especially keep my faith and, you know, always continue to be creative and find ways to reinvent and keep my, you know, keep myself relative. And I know that sounds like, well, what do you mean? I mean, what is the answer to the question? Well, it's a multi-layered answer because it's a multi-faceted question. You know, you look at yourself and you find yourself, you're a woman, you're Black, you're young, you're trying to make things happen and keep your integrity. All of those things, you know, are major challenges, especially when you're in an ever-evolving and multifaceted entity, which is the entertainment business. You know, singing, dancing, acting. I do more than one thing, and that's not by accident. It is what my God has gifted me to do, and what my desire is in terms of wanting to be a full and well-rounded entertainer. So I think the biggest lesson is to stay focused and to stay faithful.
You know, Alyson, you know, that sort of leads me, you set up the next question because you are so multifaceted. You know, as you said, and it's not by design, it's your God-given talent, and then it's your nurturing that talent. So, you know, because of your genre, you span multiple genres. Well, you know, Alyson, I have not been lucky to hear you sing in person. I just thought about that. I haven't, but I know that you've been in Raleigh with, and you correct me if I get it wrong. I thought it was Najee.
Absolutely, Najee.
And yes, go ahead.
I was just saying, over the last few years, even pre and just after COVID, working with Najee, working with Christian McBride, working with Adam Blackstone, working with Nat Adderley Jr., and just so many great musicians. The list goes on and on. Marcus Johnson, Brian Lanier, Tony Terry, just so many, and to be able to continue to be, to work, and in different genres, some R&B, some jazz, some smooth jazz, some traditional. A lot of listeners may not know that even before my career started with Def Jam, I was what they call a hook girl. So I was singing hooks on all of the seminal records that were presented in rap. Rap gave birth to hip hop. So you had people like Curtis Blow, who was a pioneer and is still considered the king of rap. And he had me in the studio with him, and I was showing him the ropes on the other side of the industry in terms of just getting out there and having visibility and crossing over. So a lot of people wouldn't know about certain acts that I sang the hooks on, things for Fat Boys Are Back, songs like If I Rule the World, I Love All the Girls. Yep. And of course, there's a generation that got that from, oh, Jesus, my brain just went out. Anyway, at any rate, that is a song that I created with Curtis Blow. And of course, they're playing basketball without that basketball. And all of that came before I was signed to Def Jam as a jazz singer with who was signed to a rap label and was given an R&B contract. And that makes me the Forrest Gump of what I do. So.
Well, Alyson, I'm learning all this stuff too. And it's like, okay, I know that you mentor individuals, because you were doing that, you correct me, you were sort of doing that when you were the first lady at Def Jam, if I'm not mistaken. So
mentoring and being mentored.
Mm-hmm. So my question becomes,
I gotta say Lauryn Hill. I couldn't think of Lauryn Hill's name. Lauryn Hill did If I Rule the World, but that was 10 years after me. So I'm just saying a lot of people might not know, where my beginnings were. And then coming into Def Jam, yes, I was able to be called the first lady of Def Jam, but I was helping other artists come and find their way as well, and coming up. There couldn't have been a Mary J. Blige without Alyson Williams.
No.
And it goes on and on. So, I'm pretty lucky and very fortunate and extremely blessed to still be here and still be doing what I love to do.
Absolutely. So now, Alyson, if someone was looking to transform their passion into a long-term career, what advice would you give them?
I would first, I would say, and this is something I didn't come up with this, but I will tell you that for all of my career, I've heard when you say music business, you say, show business, the biggest word is business. So what you want to do is you want to learn as much as you can about the business. You want to immerse yourself in the ins and outs of the business and be well versed, because that is what's going to take you further. Everybody always sees the end product. They see the highlight reel. They see Facebook. They see Instagram. Things that weren't even around really, when I came around. So, you sort of the tinsel and the sizzle and the the shiny part, but the things that you need to know about, just so that you can protect yourself, the ins and outs, the being focused and realizing that everything that glitters ain't gold, and how to hold, don't be too eager to fall for the okie doke, because it can leave you in a place where you don't get what you think you should get, or you don't get what you reached out for, because you went for something that was just on the surface, very shiny and very appetizing, but it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. I would tell young people, and the industry has changed now. So with the internet and with social media and so on and so forth, they're walking a different path. In many ways, a path that I have to learn different things now just to keep myself in the loop, because it's done a different way. But there are still some entities that still work the same way, and they might call it old school or whatever, but there are certain things you still have to keep in place. And the one thing for sure that never changes is you have to...
Say that again, Alyson.
Believe
You
it.
went out.
No, I didn't go out. I was trying to find the
Oh,
words.
okay.
But you have to keep yourself together. You know what I'm saying? It's all about you. You're a human being, and you come with a certain worth, and you come with a certain. You have to respect yourself within the industry, because there's a lot of people going to throw a lot of things at you, and say, "Oh yeah, do this, do that, take this road, take that road." Yeah, okay. And then you realize that you end up, you know, in the midst of a court case, and I'll just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, I would say to anybody who has a passion for this, follow your passion, but also realize that you got to stay sharp. It's about what's up here as well as your talent, and then everything else will follow.
Alyson, it's interesting that you said that, because my new word is respect. I went on and did a live recently about it. And what you just said aligns to that, because what I heard you say is, one, understand it's a business. You know, entertainment is a business, just like any other job. It's a business, and you have to understand that business, but you cannot lose, I'm going to say it this way, that respect that you have for yourself. Because when you respect yourself, there are just certain things you're not going to do.
Exactly.
And I would thank you. So now I'm beginning to understand why he got me on this respect thing, because you're right. And we can see it as things play out in all the different industries and just across the world. And it's like the moral compass, but it's also respect. They're the same, they're similar, but they're different. I got to respect me, and I have to keep that in mind as I make decisions about myself personally or professionally, regardless of what my profession is. And I think that is excellent advice for anyone who is looking to turn their passion into a long-term career. Now,
Yeah.
Alyson, I know
Everybody should follow their dream, but a lot of times you find yourself in a place, especially if you're young and you're new, there's a lot of things you don't know or things that you think you know, and you're like, if I don't do this or if I don't follow this, then I'm not going to get what I think I want, or it's not going to come to me, or I'm not going to be regarded, or they're not going to pay attention, or they're going to drop me to the side, or I won't be invited to the party. But don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. Your gift is enough. What you've been given, whether it's natural talent or talent that is trained, you will get to what is supposed to be for you is for you, and nobody is in control of that. You know what I mean? Not even you. That's God's thing. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can take it from you. Nobody can stop it, and you just have to. And it's not easy. It's easy enough to say, "Oh, you got to be careful, and you got to, don't take the risk," and so on. It's not easy, but if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it.
everybody be doing it. You're right. Everybody be doing it, Alyson.
So, you have to really, when you have dreams and you have aspirations to do great things, you have to realize greatness is steeped in excellence. And anything that's not steeped in excellence, then it ain't for you. And you know when it's excellent. You know when it's the best. You know when it's right. Dr. Angelo was my mentor, our beloved Dr. Angelo, who loved on all of us, who has mentored the world. And she said, baby, just do what's right. You know the difference between right and wrong. Just do right. And to hear that come from her mouth, just that simple, baby, just do right. And then she would tell me, have the courage. You might see everybody going down the block and they got plenty of money and plenty of red bottoms and plenty of this and plenty of that. And da-da-da. But what was the compromise? And you don't have to do it that way. That might not be the way for you. Have the courage to stand by your guns, to stand by, like you said, your moral compass, and maybe do it a little different. It might take a little longer. It might not, timing is everything. It might not come when you think it's going to come, but it will come. But you have to have the courage to maybe do it a little bit different, because every way that somebody else is doing it is not for you.
Well, Alyson, I was going to ask you about Dr. Angelo, and you answered it for me. And I think that's a great wrap up for this portion of our conversation, because just do right.
Just do right.
Just do right. And you think about, so many things could be solved in the world if we just did right.
But, and the fact that we know the difference between right and wrong.
Yes, ma'am. We know it. Well, now, Alyson, living, I know that you've had some health challenges. I know during the COVID time that was a real challenge for you. But as a person who lives with type 2 diabetes, how has it challenged, excuse me, how has it changed your approach to how you live and make your music now? How has, trying to make sure that everything is okay as far as your diabetes, how does that impact your work?
Um, well, I'm going to start out by giving a shout out to my friend Max. And Max has an organization and a foundation called Diabetics. And when you hear the word diva, that automatically gives you shiny, fabulous, boom, boom, ba, and then the betic. So, in my world, I like to say that I like to try to I like to try to fit my world, work my world around diabetes, and not have to make my world work around diabetes. You know what I'm saying? So I try to speak into what living with type 2 diabetes is in terms of, there are a lot of, I'd say, very drastic, very necessary changes that people have to make in their life to keep their numbers at bay and to live a certain quality of life with diabetes. But it doesn't mean that you can't still achieve all your goals and do the things that you want to. I travel around the world for a living. It requires a lot of travel to different time zones. Finding myself traveling when most people are still in bed, knowing that I'm not going to always get my meals when I need my meals, but still I got to take my medication when I got to take my medication. I have to decide, how it's going to pan out before I hit the stage, what it's going to look like after I come off the stage, because the show doesn't stop at the thank you and good night. And then there's food and there's drink and there's socialization and not as much sleep as you should get. So all of these things, are a part of living with it. But if I can do it, then certainly you can do it.
Absolutely.
So that is what it is. Like I said, I try to, I fit diabetes into my life. I don't fit my life into diabetes.
I like that.
And it is a challenge. It's a challenge every day, whether it's what I'm going to eat and when I'm going to wake up and how I have to get it in by a certain amount of hours and what I can eat. And we're coming up on the holidays now. So we know that, we have all these various things in front of us, Temptation Island all over. We have foods that not even the fact that, we got cakes and pies and this, that, and the other, but just the way we prepare food for the holidays is so much more, so much more butter, so much more seasoning, salt, sugar, it's all these things and it's richer. But, and as we grow older and mature, I'm a woman of a certain age, you just realize that there's certain things your body can't metabolize like that anymore. We can't put in all the junk we used to and be okay. We can't say, oh, I look like I put on a couple of pounds, but I want to fit into an outfit by the weekend. I just won't eat. That don't work no more.
No.
But I'm just saying, so it's about a balance, and it's about, the mental and the physical, mind, body, and soul. It's about getting in exercise. It's about getting in meditation. It's about getting in your sleep. It's about doing everything in moderation. Do I have my glass? Yes, I have my glass, but I know what I can and cannot do. You know what I'm saying? So do I have a slice of pie? Sure. Every once in a while. But if I don't have any pie anymore, I've had enough pie during my lifetime to never care about pie anymore. You have to think about that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You have to think about that. So, there's certain foods that I love and that I crave, but I have to have that specific one. And if I don't have that specific one, I'm not just running around filling the void.
No.
Even if it means that I have to wait till a certain time during the year because I know a certain person may be cooking a certain way, and that's the piece of chicken I want, or that's the potato salad I need, or that's the, whatever it is. I know it's coming, and you just make those decisions. Like I said, as we come up on the holidays this year, I want to do better than I did last year, and the challenge is to even keep that kind of mental notation in your brain, in your mind, as you deal with your temple. I know how I felt last year this time. I know what I did wrong, and I know what I could have done better. So this year, I know, how to implement it. It doesn't just fly out of the window, because this is something that they say, manage your diabetes. I've always been taught by the people who are a part of my wellness, my health and wellness, that anything that can be managed can be eradicated.
Absolutely.
You can manage things. Well, to me, that's just my opinion, but it speaks into a lot of other things. Managing, okay, that means that we're doing just what we need to do, but we still have what we have. Why not just get rid of it? And I know it's different for everyone, and some people can turn it around, reverse it, and so on and so forth. Some of us may not be able to. I'm on the path to, yes, I can.
Yes, I can.
Yes, I can. So to all of my type 2 diabetics out there, and the others as well, just, keep up the good fight, hold up the bloodstained banner. We can do this thing. We can do this thing.
Well, Alyson, you talked about all the different things. Well, one, how you manage everything with your work and traveling and this and that. And it lets us know that if there's a will, there's a way. It just takes planning. Like you said, you may not get your meal, but you still got to take your medication at that time. So you have to plan for all of that.
And plan, and you have to decide that this is what I'm going to do. Planning is going to be part of what I do. Once you get that, okay, then planning is what you do. I'm not saying it's easy, but it gets easier. And you have to first try, because nothing beats a failure but a try.
Absolutely. And this is National Diabetes Month. And going back to my word respect, and you basically said what I said the other day. If I am a diabetic, then I know what I got to do. And when I don't, this is for me, guys, this is for TAS. If I don't do what I need to do, that's a sign of disrespect for me. I'm not respecting this temple when I know I should be doing things a certain way. And so you basically echoed that. And it's so very true. And you have been able to do that. And you also talked about that mind, body, and soul, and the sleep and the meditation. Well, we know that research has shown that there is a connection to our mental health based upon how we treat that temple. So I know mental health is very important to you. Can you share a time when focusing on your mental health helped you in your life or in your career?
Well, first of all, I just want to just closing out on the talk about diabetics. When you found yourself in the throes of what could be your worst case scenario, which for a diabetic, there are many things, but say ketoacidosis, and I've experienced that. I experienced it when I first was diagnosed and didn't know what I had. And then I experienced it during COVID, which was a very scary time, because COVID, although being inoculated and what have you, the two would not play well together, and it left me in a coma for 6 days. Having come through the bulk of quarantine COVID and to find myself sick to that extent. So I look at things through a different lens in terms of, what I do and how I take on my challenges, because I saw my life. Well, no, I want to say I saw my life flash before my eyes, but I didn't see it because I was in a coma on a ventilator. Everybody else saw my life almost flash before my eyes. But when you come out of it on the other side and you see how good God is and you are restored, you take into account all of those things. So that's how you try to live your life. Doesn't mean you're going to be perfect and all of a sudden you're going to stop doing everything you used to do because you're not going to be able to do that because you're just a human being. But you can do a lot better. And that leads me to even what you were talking about with mental health. Over the last few years, I've been doing a show called Old Friend. Old Friend, Alyson Williams sings tribute to the Phyllis Hyman legacy. Phyllis Hyman was a dear friend of mine, a sister friend, and struggled with mental illness challenges. And having been close to her and near to her, and especially just before she made the decision to transition herself, so many things took place on a personal level. And I was asked a year to the date of her death almost to come and join a show that was called Thank God the Beat Goes On. And we know the beat goes on. It's synonymous with the legendary Whispers. And it was a show, a stage play about the Whispers and their many years in the business. And they asked me to come and be a part of this stage play and play the role of Phyllis Hyman. And it was all coming together, like I said, when she left, how she left, what happened before she left. Then they wrote this play. Then she was in the play. Then I was playing her in the play and the whole bit. After we did 2 years of touring, the buzz was, when you going to do the Phyllis Hyman show again? And I kept saying, but I didn't do a Phyllis Hyman show. I did a show about the Whispers, and I was a part of it as Phyllis. But it made me know that I must have done something right in portraying her in the show because people wanted more. So I sat down at my dining room table and I wrote Old Friend. And as we have done it here and there and almost everywhere, but certainly not all over, I decided that the best thing to do would be to put it on not only a platform of her legacy and her music and who she was as an artist, but to speak into and open the narrative of mental health, mental wealth, mental illness, because that was her challenge. And it opened itself. It opened itself. I didn't have to think about this real hard. It came, and then it was like, wow, this makes so much sense. So as I've been doing it since Phyllis left us in '96, I believe, as I've been doing this show since the early 2000s and up until now, the reason for doing it is not just her musical legacy and the great songs and the tragedy of what happened, but now it's about trying to show people that mental illness is a disease, you know, and it does not respect beauty, celebrity, wealth, or any of those things, because she had all of those things, and also, you know, you're not alone. You know, it can take the person who is you know, in the spotlight, and it can also affect the person that is living a life of, I get up, I go to school, I go to work, I do this, I do that, and I'm not in the limelight, but still I'm suffering. And many times in the Black and brown community, we suffer silently and senselessly, and because we don't know where the help is, we don't know if we're eligible for it, or how to reach out, or if we can we open up, and be vulnerable and be honest about what our situation is without being judged, without being beat over the head, so I want to create that safe space in as many places I can. So that's what we're doing. Who better to tell the story of an issue with mental health issues, mental health and mental health issues than someone who went through it, than someone who suffered through it. So when you look around, everybody, I want you to keep your eyes and ears open for Old Friend. Alyson Williams sings tribute to the legendary Phyllis Hyman, because it tells a story and it's entertaining. And of course, the music is the star of the show, and it is her legacy. But, you know, and she is one to be lifted up and lauded because of what she contributed to the industry. But it also is to reach out and help someone and make somebody understand, hey, you know, I need help, or I'm going through something, or something's different. I need to talk to someone. I need to, you know, by the time I'm looking at a number for a suicide hotline, it's too late.
Yeah.
I want to get to people before they come to that place. So yeah, I'm a big advocate on that, and I'm trying to align myself with people. I know that Taraji P. Henson has her own brick and mortar situation in her father's name. Charlemagne the God, Courtney B. Vance, and so many others that I've been trying to reach out to help me, and we help each other. One hand wash the other, and both hands wash the face. And so we can get this done. And especially since COVID, when that onion was peeled back, and we saw, so we really got an idea of what what is going on with mental health, mental wellness, mental illness, and how rampant it is. We see so much more now than we used to see. Before it was kind of like, oh, it's over there. Now it's standing right next to us, you know. And like I said, in the Black and brown community, sometimes we tend to sweep it under the rug. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want nobody to know. We're ashamed. We're this, we're that, we're the other. And we can't be that. We can't be that and make a difference. We can't be that and get the cure. We can't be that and get the help that we need. So, you know, I'm working, like I said, every year that comes in and out, I'm working to find a way to do a little bit more to get it to the forefront and open up the narrative and the conversation, and hopefully to help some people.
Well, Alyson, I think that I love music. As Mary J said, you know, I love music. And I think that music opens the door because it just sort of levels things, because you don't have to be a particular person. You just have to like music. And I think it opens the door for conversation, particularly, as you stated, in the Black and brown communities, because we still look at it as taboo.
Right.
Well, it's like, you know, that's Uncle so-and-so, you know, they back there in their room. Well, Uncle so-and-so was depressed, you know, or this person, you know, they had one of these spells. Well, that person had, perhaps they were bipolar or something, you know what I'm saying? But again, we've always sort of swept it under the rug, and we're at a time now where that doesn't work so well.
No,
and as the
it
generations
doesn't. It
come,
doesn't.
it
Exactly.
doesn't.
Exactly. And you know, the thing for me is music is a balm. Music is a salve. Music is something you rub into the skin, and it affects everyone so differently, but it also affects everyone exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love about the gift. It's like, imagine being able to walk into a room of people from all walks of life, black, white, red, yellow, purple, blue, polka dot, stripe, you know, whether you're young or old, whether you're thick or thin, or short or tall, or gay or straight. And I have a gift that can touch everybody in the same way and differently at the same time. It can make you laugh, it can make you smile, it can make you reminisce, it can take you back. It can, you know, it can make, it's just such an incredible thing. So to use music as that, you know, gateway to get to the place you need to go. I'm glad that I have that. I have that at my disposal, and I continue to use it, you know, to try to make a difference. Like I said, with the mental health, we're gonna sing you through your diabetes. We're gonna, you know, we're gonna make it happen. Just recently, one of the other musical platforms that I created was something called Diva Palooza. Diva and Soul Palooza is a musical concert series that really takes you into the realm of, think about all the R&B artists that came out when Alyson Williams came out. You had your Cheryl Pepsi Riley, you had your CeCe Peniston, you had your Melissa Morgan, you had your Mickey Howard, you had your Tony Terry, you had your Glenn Jones, you had your Miles Davis, Miles J. You had all of these great artists, and I'm just scratching the surface. And there's a demographic of people who we are all the same age about right now, and we want to put on our clothes and go out and see these artists. But sometimes it's very hard to find them, or maybe they're just not coming to your town, or the various regions of the country. I want to be able to bring people, bring this to you. There's a lot of folks out there still looking good, still sounding good, and singing your favorite song. And you're gonna go ahead and put your little glad rags on, get your nails did, get your hair did, and come out and get that experience and get back to the house. That's what you want. You want to grown and sexy grown folks experience. And so that's what Diva Palooza is. I call it Diva Palooza when I do a female lineup, and it would be like a Alyson Williams, Melissa Morgan, CeCe Peniston, Mickey Howard. And then I call it Soul Palooza when I mix it with fellas, and I might have Alyson and Melissa and Glenn, and maybe, like I just had, Little G from Silk. And then also when I have an all male lineup, I'll call it Soul Palooza. We just don't want to call the guys divas, that's all. No. So look for Soul and Diva Palooza and Jazz Palooza, you know, coming to a city near you, bringing you the best of the best of the best. an opportunity for you to see who you want to see and reminisce and relive those experiences and relive those times in your life, as well as give these artists a chance to get out there and work, because it's all about having work and navigating through these waters. We're still viable. We're still out there doing what we do and doing it well, and we want to bring it to you. So, I got a lot of irons in the fire, and just looking forward to 2025, where we will be doing all the best, all steeped in excellence, and bringing it to a city near you.
Well, now, Alyson, I didn't know about the Palooza. So I know that when you start doing your Palooza, I know you're going to come back and we're going to hop on and we're going to talk about what they can expect with your Palooza. We may have to invite somebody on with you so that we can get the crowd riled up so that they'll know that these people are going to be in their area. And you're right. We want to hear them. We want to see them. And the voices are still strong, and it just takes us to a different place. And we need to go to that place again.
And also because a certain demographic of people, will look up and they might feel slighted or left out because they don't know who everybody is now. I know I've come to that point. I got to look up and go, okay, who's a Money Long, who's a Glorilla, who's a this, who's a that, who's a the other, and I'm not saying anything about negative about these artists, but there was a time when somebody didn't understand who Alyson Williams was. And they were like, okay, we're Gladys. Where's Patty? Who's this Alyson Williams? Until they saw what I had to offer, and they saw that it was steeped in that same level of excellence. I was a singer, I was an entertainer, and so. So they're like, okay, Miss Allie, all right, we love you too. So everyone has their 15 minutes in the spotlight. It's now a matter of stretching that into a career. Of course, the internet and social media is a big boost to a lot of folks. But, like I said, there's a lot of people who want to go and hear what they know, hear what they're used to, go back and get, whether it's a solo act or a group, we got it for you. So I'm happy. I also want to say shout out to quite a few people who have been really wonderful. The New York City Musicians Coalition for honoring me and so many others. When I got honored a couple of years ago, and then this year, Najee and Melissa and so many people. Also up and coming, or just recently, I know it's probably backwards. This magazine, this program book is the 52nd annual Adelco Awards. Adelco Awards is the organization that they are Audience Development Coalition, and they honor excellence in Black theater across the board: Broadway, off-Broadway, regional theater, all genres, and musical, dramatic. One solo performance, one woman, one man shows in every category, from sound, lights, wardrobe, set design, so on and so forth. And I was honored with the Outstanding Achievement Award this year. And so I want to make sure I say hi, and I can add that to my Emmy and all of the other wonderful things that I just love it. And I feel so blessed when people, honor me and they give you your flowers while you're still here to smell them and to hear the applause. And so, I also will be honored at the she does something called the spring bling, but this is the white bling in where will I be? In Inglewood, New Jersey on December 8th. We're going to be doing the cancer survivor organization, and I am so remiss because I don't have the flyer in front of me, and of course my phone is my camera now. But if you go to my Instagram, Alyson Williams Music, or if you go to Alyson Williams Music on Facebook, you'll see I am being honored on December 8th, and it'll give you all information and how you can get tickets. And it's right there in Inglewood, so it's real easy. And y'all should come and support a good cause, because this is also, isn't it Breast Cancer Awareness Month? I know, we got so much stuff to be aware of and to celebrate. So I'm grateful. Shout out to Skip Martin, who was responsible in me getting my Emmy a year and a half ago, and now I've been awarded by the Musicians Guild, and it's just really good. It's great to see 2024 go out with so many positive things and so many opportunities to reach out and touch, and look forward to 2025 and know that there's a great deal of work that has to be done. And we know what I mean, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I ain't gonna get into it, but there's a lot that we're gonna have to take on the responsibility of, doing it for ourselves and making sure that we make an impact,
Mm-hmm.
because the tables are turned and the seesaw ain't even.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well,
But
Alyson,
yes, my dear.
2024 has been really good to you, and you kind of set us up for 2025.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. Oh, one other great thing that I have to say, there's so many things that happened, but I was after 14 years of trying to get to a certain place. You know how you can work with a certain situation for a lot of different things, but you're not really where you're trying to get to. So finally I was featured as my show, the Phyllis Hyman tribute show, was featured in the International Black Theater Festival, which happens every 2 years right here in Winston-Salem, and we call it Holy Ground. It's been going on for years.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, everyone from Broadway to film and television has been a part of it, and been someone who has supported it and what have you. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to be a part of it, but this year to be a part of it in my own name, along with Mr. Terry Steele. And Terry Steele has an incredible tribute to Luther Vandross called "Never Too Much." So we got together and with the Ebony Repertoire Theater out of Los Angeles, Ren Woods and Gail Hooks, and they put us together with something called "Bet You By Golly Wow, There's Never Too Much." And when I tell you, we were the buzz of the festival, and I'm not patting myself on my back, I'm just telling you what it was. And so that was another great thing that I'm still basking in the afterglow of, because to be represented in the International Black Theater Festival is a big old deal, and I was on the front of the newspaper. I ended up being able to do mental health panels with Norvant Health, because they had a thing that they were offering people to come out and support called "Theater is Therapeutic," and it is. And it spoke into, like I said, the issues that people are dealing with mental health, but also how, theater and the arts, can
connect and support.
Music. What do they used to say? Music saves the savage beast. Yeah.
It
I
does.
know I'm
It
saying
soothes
it
the savage
wrong,
beast.
but
No,
what
you're
I'm
right. It
saying.
soothes the
So
savage
it
beast.
all tied in, and then from that, the one last thing I want to say, I was on 2 incredible magazines this year. She Exists magazine did their launch in May, and they they transitioned from a digital platform to a print platform, a hard copy platform. So that meant that we were on the newsstands and we sold out, and we were in Times Square on the big jumbotrons when they launched it in May. I thank them so much for asking me to be on their first cover as a hard copy. Another magazine, taking it from New York, but down here, is called Winston-Salem Magazine, and they are the premier theater, arts, lifestyle magazine. And the Nutcracker has the cover, which we get it. It's Nutcracker time. But I have a wonderful spread in Winston-Salem Magazine. So I just want to thank Winston-Salem for embracing me now that I am a resident, and helping me to grow within my community and be a part of it, and reach into my community and help uplift and be somebody that represents them, and they're proud to have it, and in this community and beyond. So all of those good things, if you go to the website, not the website, sorry, if you go to Facebook or Instagram, Alyson Williams Music, you can see all of these things that I'm posting as we come to the end of the year, and just letting you see what we've done, what we're doing, and what we fitting to do. And that's fitting.
I heard that fitna.
FITNA, fitna. I was saying fitna before I moved down here. I don't want Southern fitna, but what
Now, Alyson, Now you know what we fitting to do now. Now you done moved down here with us in the South. I knew exactly what you meant when you said fitting. You know we fitting to do this now, and we fitting to do it, and you doing it.
I'm
And
trying.
you are, Alyson, and our time is coming to a close. But I just want to thank you for coming on tonight and sharing your story, sharing your wisdom, because you have dropped so many nuggets tonight. From how you've been able to maintain your career and the things that you talk to us about. Those are applicable for any kind of career. It doesn't have to be entertainment, but you have to be able to continually reinvent yourself, stay relevant, because technology is changing. How your organization does business is changing, and you laid that out for us. And then when you talked about managing, but we could remove, that's not your word, but managing the diabetes and eradicating, I think it may be what you said, because if we can manage it, we can diminish it. And there are people who do that,
It's different for everybody. Hey, listen, Winston State, North Carolina has a wonderful jazz station down here. Okay, WSNC, and Brian Anthony is their music is the program director there, and he has shown me so much love. Jackie Alexander is the director over at North Carolina Black Repertory, and all the folks at all these wonderful institutes. I'm so just enveloped by culture here in North Carolina. You wouldn't believe it. And also Out at the Movies, which is an LGBTQ plus film festival. And I sit on the board, and I'm so happy to be involved with Out at the Movies. They do so much great work, giving scholarships and grants to up-and-coming filmmakers and directors, and everyone's inclusive. Although it is rooted in an LGBT root, it is everyone's inclusive. And thank you so much to all the people and different organizations and entities that now embrace me and help make this not just where I live, but make it my home. And that includes you too, Dr. TAS.
Well, Alyson,
Teresa, Dr. TAS, I call you, because you're right there, in that Raleigh area. So my corridor of Raleigh, Durham, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and Charlotte, and of course, you go beyond and you hit Atlanta. I'm so thankful to have that. And to know that people are watching me and loving on me. And I thank you so much.
Well, Alyson, we love you, and you can't do anything about it. And we're so glad to have you here in North Carolina, Winston-Salem. And kudos on your play in the International Black Theater Festival. I've been there, so I know what a huge deal
yeah, it's a big deal.
That was huge. You was in high cotton, as we like to say in the South, because that's a huge deal. And I also applaud your work with Novant. I'm in North Carolina, so I know Novant is a healthcare for those who are not in North Carolina, one of our larger health organizations. And so to be able to help them, as they were talking about, absolutely, WLC Jersey said, greatness in action, absolutely. And being able to help Novant spread the word about mental health. It's amazing. As I wrap it up, I want to say we only talked big picture about 3 of the areas that you're doing a lot of work in. But you've shown us, as you talked about all the things that you've been involved in and the recognitions that you've had this year, how God has continued to order your steps. And I'm just so grateful that you're back on your feet and you have not stopped. You're managing your diabetes, of course, but once you came back from COVID, you've not stopped. You're taking advantage of every opportunity that's presenting itself. And we see the benefits of doing that. You're living life. And as you said, Maya said, just do it right. And you're just doing it right.
And never be afraid to ask for what you want. Just be prepared to pay for what you get.
Oh, and that's the truth.
Yes,
be prepared to pay for what you get.
I'm so thankful. I really am. I really, really am.
Well, Alyson, I want to thank you for being with me on Talk with Taz. I
And I
want to thank
thank
you.
you for having me. I thank you for having me and all the things that you're doing and all the things that you do. We got to get in the kitchen again and all that good stuff.
Well, Alyson, I'm going to be making peach pudding
Mhm.
for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Uh, and it's homegrown peaches. And I
Oh,
made some,
well,
I did this already. And I didn't add any sugar. So
okay.
it was the peach natural sweetness. And you know how I eat. And I
Right.
was like, this is good.
Oh,
And I'm like, I'm making it
man.
for my family.
You're gonna have to save me some, and I might have to ride up there and get me
Well,
some.
come right on, because it's going to be more than enough, more than enough. And
Always.
and you're always welcome. And guys, thank you so much. Dina said, "Love you." Great interview again. Greatness in action from WL Jersey. Also, they were like, "Yay, Alyson, I love you." That's Wanda. And then
Oh,
someone else.
Wanda got on,
Yes,
yeah. Because
she did.
I'm not tech savvy at all. So people were calling me and asking me, so what do I do? And I was like, I don't know, but push this. Tap on this and you should get there. Where do I go? Zoom? Do I go to go to Instagram and you'll figure it out. And I'm glad to see that folks got on. I'm glad to see Tina's here and Wanda Carter's here and my people from the Northeast, my people from the West Coast. Who.
Okay. So see, I that's the reason I want to go through them. Actually, we got, and Wanda had said God is good all the time. Then we got KC926 is on here, and then I'm going to sort of spell. Oh, the last part is Mustang. Nadia Distar Mustang is on with us. So everybody who joined us, we of course, and then Donnie Hugs had joined us. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been so much fun, Alyson. Next time we're gonna come on, we're gonna talk about one thing. It may be the Palooza, so that we
Okay.
can get all of the inroads so that folks will know what's happening with that and how they can connect and how they can
Yeah,
see all the performance.
we're definitely trying to plan a tour for the spring. Shout out to my cousin and also a business colleague, Mr. Hollywood. We got Hollywood Henderson Promotions. I'm sorry, Henderson Productions out of Connecticut, and who else? Just UD, and they're on the all things we do technically with video and audio visual. Dennis Carr. We got all our people in the back who are, trying to, build these things up and find the finance to get these things up and going for the spring. So we're going to have some great things. I look forward to doing it all. I really do. I'm putting some more effort into my one woman show and my book and all of that stuff. It's so much stuff. We can't fit it all in one podcast, but we try to do the best we can. But we'll keep your eyes open, and we'll keep giving you stuff to look at. I bet you that.
Absolutely. Well, Alyson, just call me. And
Just
I'll
call
let
my
you come.
name and I'll come running.
That's right. That's it. You know how to go with what I was trying to go with that now. Yeah, just call me. I'll open up the my calendar and say, "Come on, let's run with it now," and I'll get you on the books because you cannot, and you guys know this, you cannot find a better person than Alyson, and I am so glad that I can call her my friend. She's someone that's been at the house, and she's just the best
Thank
person,
you.
and you just don't have a lot of good people like that nowadays. And so we're so
Thank
blessed
you.
to have you. And I'm so glad that you're getting your flowers while you can smell them, because that is such an important thing, because you have done the work and you deserve every great thing that comes your way. You really do.
Thank you.
You're
We're
very, very welcome.
Denver. Hey, baby, we love you.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you again, Alyson. And until next time, remember, before you take care of anyone else, make sure you take care of yourself first. Bye now.
Peace.